Hi everyone, it's Kathleen. We are here today to continue working on this embroidered herbarium kit that I received from Daphne's diary. In the kit, you get everything you need to stitch this with embroidery floss. You get a book of instructions on the stitches to do, and this is what you get inside the kit. We are going to use this variegated lilac or variegated purple today to work on these lavender stitches. Lavender stitches that we're going to do today use the bullion knots, and bullion knots look like this. They look different with pearl cotton than they do with embroidery floss. They will look different, and these are really, really long ones over here. And I know I've done some on here. Where are they? I can't see the forest for the tree. Oh, here. Here's some gray ones that I did here. Okay, so let's start. When I start, I like to start at the top, and I might have to move you right down. Let's go a little bit closer. And when you work with an embroidery floss like this is DMC. I like the variegated when I do flowers. It comes in the kit, variegated, and the color is 52. To take out some floss, you have this string at the bottom. So I hold on the top, and I pull. I'm pulling a long length, probably about 36 inches, because I am doing wraps. Excuse me, I have lung issues and I cough. It's not COVID, it's just lung issues. So here we are. I like to start with a very light color. So this one's already threaded. So I am, sorry, I am going to make sure I start with the light lilac. And some people like to work in a hoop. I prefer to feel my stitches as I go. We are going to start working on a lilac. You can start working on any one. I'm going to work on this little small one. And you come up at the top. Let's go with the tallest or the highest stitch. I'm using a number 1 Milner's needle. It's a longer needle, and it has a longer eye, or you can feed your embroidery floss or your threads through. But the length, with a Milner's needle, the shaft of your needle and the eye of your needle is more or less the same thickness. So when you do wraps and pull it off, you don't have a hump of an eye to go over top. So let's pull the thread out at the top, and we're working bullion knots in these lilac stitches. And we're going to go down. We're going to do a small bullion knot. So I'm going to go a short distance down, and my bullion knots will get longer along the stem. So I'm just going to go down a short distance away, down, and I'm going to go up in the same hole. So I'm taking a bite, and I'm moving my needle out of the fabric lots. And I have to maneuver my thread. So I just have a single bit coming out at the needle. So the thread that you wrap around your needle is the thread that's coming out of the hole. It's the same hole that your needle is coming out of as well. So we're going to do a small amount of wraps. For this bullion knot to lay flat, we only need that amount of wraps. So what is that? Let's see. Let's try 6. So it's behind here now. 1, 2, 3, and I'm pushing it down. 4, 5, 6. Let's try 6 wraps. I'm going to hold my wraps with my finger and my thumb, and I'm going to pull my needle out. know it's hidden, but I'll show you as soon as I pull my thread. I'm holding it so the thread and the secret to bullion knots. Lay your fabric down, and you see how my finger is going towards the down hole. You have an up hole and a down hole. So the top of those wraps, I'm holding and pinching and bringing down towards the lower hole, and it lays really nice. And I pulled it, I held it, and I pulled. So when you look at it, look at how nice it lays. It lays nicely. So it is, let's find our needle. It's lost somewhere. Here we are. And I have a long bit, like I said. So what you do now, it's nice and tight, and you go, remember you have a top hole and you have a bottom hole. So let's go down in that same bottom hole and pull our thread through. That's the first one, and it lays nicely. What did I say? That was 6 wraps? I can't remember. I'm going to count them again because I want to do 1, 2, 3. Yes, there's 6. So let's go another bullion knot. So we're going to come out at the top. And at the back, it just lays flat. So you come out at the top. And I'm going to go where the first bottom hole is, I'm going to go just a hair lower than that to go down. I'm moving my thread to the side, and I'm going to come up that same hole that I came out of. And now I am bringing my needle just about, like I want lots on the top. I'm going to take my thread, and I did 6. Let's bring our, oh, I can see I went in the thread. You don't want to do that. So what I mean by that is I didn't pull my thread far enough to the side to just come out the hole. I actually pierced the thread. So now I'm just out the hole. So let's bring our thread behind the needle, and let's do some wraps. We did 6 over here, so let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. That'll be good enough. Let's go 6. So let's, again, we're going to hold it between our finger and our thumb. I'm squeezing it shut, and I'm pulling my needle through. Hopefully there's no knot here. And you can see them there. If I let go, my loops will be messy, and I want these loops to lay flat. And I'm pushing that top one because I let go. So let's have a look, see how they're laying nice and flat up there. So I'm squeezing. Oh, I don't know if you saw that. I didn't look in the camera. Okay, so I'm squeezing that. Again, I put my fabric down, squeezing, and I'm pulling this thread till it's tight. And it lays nice and flat. See how nice and flat that is? We take our needle and we go down that lower hole to the back. That one's done. Look at how pretty that's looking. So when we do a lavender, you have 1 bullion knot lying to the left, and the next one is a little bit lower down to the right, and then we're going to stagger them back and forth like that. So we're going to come up on this, on the left-hand side, where I'm following the printed gray on the fabric. I'm going to come up at the top, and it's about halfway the length of that bullion knot. So I'm coming out at the top, going down at the bottom, and I'm going to go down the stem. So I have 1, 2, and I'm going to move my I'm going to go down along the stem, and it's still about the same length, and this time I'm going to pull my thread so I can come out, bring my needle up, and let's try 6 wraps again. Bring my thread to the back, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Push them down. That might be just enough. 6. Let's do 3 6s. So I'm going to squeeze and I'm going to pull. Make sure that I do not get tangled up. Lay it down, and I like to lay it flat. I'm still squeezing and I'm pulling it till it's tight and it's laying nicely. And I'm going to find that hole and go back down the hole, the same hole, and bring my needle and thread through. And I seem to be tangled. Let's untangle me. Okay, where are we? And we're pulling this nice and tight. Look at how beautiful that looks. Okay, pulling it nice and tight. Let's go to the right and fill in the gray. So I'm going to go about halfway. Oh, that's a little less than halfway. I'm going to go higher than that. I'm following the gray, but I'm just going a hair above the gray. And I'm going really close to that existing bullion knot. And I'm about halfway down halfway down this bullion knot is to the right-hand side is where I'm going to come out. You can do this on any fabric. Create like this. It's just nice to have a printed motif to follow. That's what's nice about these patterns. Okay, so where do I want to come down? I'm going to go again just below this previous one that I just did, and I'm going to go down, and my stitch length is going to be longer. So instead of 6 wraps, we're going to go more. So I'm pulling my thread to the left to get it out of the way. So my needle comes up in the hole. Okay, let's try the 6 wraps. So behind, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Slide them down. I'm going to go 7. 7. I'm going to do 7 on this one. Squeeze and pull. So the number of wraps you have more numbers of wraps to get bigger looking flower bits. So there's 7 on that one. I'm going to go down the hole that I came up in and pull it out of the way. Okay, and I'm going to go on the left hand side. Again, about halfway up. I'm going to go down underneath a little ways, and we did 7 there. I'm going to pull my thread out of the way, come up, making sure not to pierce that thread, bring my thread to the back, and last one was 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, push it down, 6, 7, push it down, and let's have a look. That would work, so I'll have 2 7 wraps. Squeeze and pull. I'm going to lay this down. I'm still pinching that so I don't let it go, and I'm going to pull. Whoops. I have to squeeze and pull my thread so it's nice and tight. And find that hole where I came up, and then I go down that same hole and pull. So I want to start to have bigger loops. So that was, I had 6 6 6 wraps, 7 7. So I'm going to go 8, 1 8 here, 8 wraps. So let's go halfway up that to the side of that one. Move my thread to the side, and I'm going to go down just underneath my previous one. And I'm getting quite long now. Make sure your thread is pulled to the left so your needle comes out. 6, 7, this one I'm going to do 8. Bring it to the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, pull down. 5, 6, 7, 8, pull down. 8. I'll do 1 8, and then I'm going to go longer next time. So squeeze the threads, pull. You see the nice variation in thread? You see how the flower is developing nicely in color. And I'm going to pull this thread to the side and go down the same hole. 6, 3 6s, 2 7s, 1 8, and now I'm going to, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to do 9 now, 9 wraps. Follow that gray, and you're coming up about halfway. And okay, I am going to go. I want see how it's kind of loose here. This guy is kind of loose. This one's laying flat, but this guy's kind of loose. So to tighten him up, instead of me going down underneath, I'm going to move him to the side, and I'm going to go down. I'm going to push him to the left and go down, and then down, and then I'm going to, excuse me, then I'm going to, okay, then I'm going to go, then I'm going to come up that same hole, and I'm going to do 9 this time. So let's bring our thread to the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, push down. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, squeeze and pull. Squeeze and make sure your thread is pulled tight, and you go down the same hole. I can't see it. Okay, there's the hole. Nice. And I want them to be bigger, so that was 9. We're going to go up, halfway up along that right-hand side. I'm going to go down underneath and pull the thread to the side, come up the same hole, and to the back. You see, my thread has really gotten shorter. So let's go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Push down. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go 11. 11 wraps this time. And if they're too tight at the top, you see how my finger is dragging it off, and they're getting bigger, looser, I should say. So make sure that they're the same width. I mean, not the same width, the same tightness around your shaft of the needle. Squeeze and pull. So I have 11 on here now. Squeeze and pull. And down the same hole. Okay. And to the left, go down and underneath that bullion knot, and you're going to go up, bring a thread behind, and let's go. That one was 11. Let's do 11 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, down, 5, 6, 7, 8, down, 9, 10, 11. And I'm judging the length of the wraps versus the length of the fabric. So this is a little bit more, so it will start to arch instead of laying flat. If you want your knot to lay flat, you only make sure the wraps are the same length as your fabric bite that you took. Oh, look, this is not tight. So let's, you see how there's a loop in here? You see how there's a loop? You want to make sure that there's no loop. Whoops, no loop. Squeeze it tight so you pulled the thread through. Squeeze. And down. There. How much thread do I have? Okay, I'm going to let my thread dangle because it's twisted, so I just drop my needle and let it spin until it stops spinning. So it's not, and then you get your thread coming out of the needle. So let's rethread this. I think I have enough to do one more. Let's go on the right hand side and down underneath. You see the beautiful color variation? And let's go up in the same hold. And then we're going to see how many wraps we can get here. Let's try to do 12. So bring it to the back. And let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Pull down. 5, 6, 7, 8. Pull down. 9, 10, 11, 12. Squeeze. And pull. Squeeze and pull. Let's find that hole going down. Okay, that's all I can do with this thread right now because I don't have enough length. So we're just going to tie a knot in the back. And I'm going to just feed my needle underneath here and cut that off. So that's what it looks like so far. So I'm going to continue off camera adding more of those bullion knots to this lavender to see how this looks. And when I did the lilac, I did a lilac stitch up here. When I did this flower, I did the yellow French knots up there. And when I'm doing the lavender, I'm going to do a couple bullion knots up there. So we'll be back to continue on a different flower, and I'll show you how I made out with this one. So it's bullion knots to create the lavender. Thank you everyone for watching. Bye for now.